Hello everyone, my name is Denise. I'm a Catholic counselor, and today I'll be talking on the topic defectiveness and shame. How do we develop defectiveness and shame? But first let's talk about what is defectiveness and shame. It is this intrinsic feeling that there's something wrong with you, or you're intrinsically a very bad person, or defective, or broken in some way. You can develop that if we are slightly different from everyone. For example, the neurodiverse community, those with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, or maybe you're a racial minority, or somehow developmentally you are a bit faster or slower than the rest, like you are a girl who grew taller and started menstruating much earlier than the rest. You might also develop defectiveness and shame. Things that happen in your family when there's a domestic violence, where there's divorce and all that, the kids might take inordinate blame on themselves and develop defectiveness and shame. When there's any kind of abuse at home, physical, sexual, emotional, or financial, any kind of abuse, yes, they might also take on defectiveness and shame. And if somehow along the way they've been complicit in being the bully, or they just keep quiet when they watch their friends being bullied, they might also develop defectiveness and shame. So there are many ways that one can develop defectiveness and shame. So today, I'm going to be brave enough to cover this, to try to cover this gargantuan topic, okay? Using some of my own examples and also maybe examples from that I've listened in the counseling room. All identities will be masked. Okay. So let's take a look. When you have defectiveness and shame, the first thing you would want to do, that some people do, is to surrender. They select critical friends, and also tend to put themselves down. Okay? First one is to surrender. So some people, they'll come to you and say, some people, maybe just for the rise of it, or just to test boundaries, especially when you're a teenager, right? They tend to come to you and say, Lama Denise, why you look so weird today? Look at your face so swollen. Oh gosh, man. I can't believe that you had the guts to get out of the house today, for example. And if I really have defectiveness and shame, I really think so poorly of myself, I say, oh, you're right lah. But luckily I'm thick-skinned. Even though I'm ugly, I'm willing to come out in public. Okay? So I think that was actually not a bad way of coming back to it. But there's some people who just soak that in and don't feel the need to retaliate at all. So that is an example of surrender. And the next time that same nasty friend asks you out, you still say yes. So that's like covertly giving permission for this friendship to go on, okay? So usually if you do not have defectiveness and shame, you might just like screen this person out. Like, hey Denise, do you want to go out with me? Nah. They make some excuse, right? But if you have defectiveness and shame, you might continue to nurse this kind of friendships. And with time, you realize that you're just surrounded by people who treat you very badly. Okay? Because maybe you fail to draw boundaries because you don't value yourself enough. You feel that you're defective and don't deserve to be protected, so you don't protect yourself. Second, avoid expressing true feelings, okay, and thoughts. And avoid drawing close to people, especially your partner or your spouse. So, I had some difficulty understanding this, but thanks to one client who taught me what it is, okay? How it came by is like I showed her the whole table of schemas, and I said, which one do you think you might be having? And then she pointed at this one, under defectiveness and shame. She said, if my partner knew me through and through, all the way deep down, my true feelings, right, then he would know how defective I am inside, then he wouldn't want me anymore. So I feel this urge to project a persona and to hide all my dark sides, my negative energy, so that he will continue to love me. Because if he knew the true me, he can't love me anymore. So it is my job to project a false, more positive version of myself so that I can continue to be loved. So I think that is also a combination of defectiveness with and shame, with abandonment schema and emotional deprivation. So as I said, right, it does make me feel quite sad. So what it means is that people with defectiveness and shame, they feel so intrinsically broken inside that they refuse to review themselves. They feel that the only way I can sustain this relationship is to remain a bit like a phony, to project a persona. Okay? Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar? Like narcissism, right? You notice? It's the same. They project a persona and they love bomb. They pretend to be the most perfect person on earth to draw you in. But it takes a lot of energy and they can't sustain it. After a while, they let the mask fall and you see all the anger and shame inside. Part of it comes from, I'm so tired putting up this persona just to get you to love me. Part of it is all the unmet needs that they've been repressing, and it all comes from shame. So you say that narcissist is shameless? No. The narcissist, right, from the very core, has a very strong core of shame, and they avoid it. Okay, next one. Overcompensate, very critical and rejecting to others, while seeming to be perfect. I see that a lot in kids, especially when they're developing, because there's a set of behaviors suitable for kids, there's a set of behaviors suitable for preteens and teens and then adults, right? So as we're moving through the developmental phase, most people move in one direction and quite synchronized. At a certain age, they learn how to sit properly, talk softer, act in a more demure, ladylike way. But those, let's say on the autism spectrum, they have a different developmental runway. There are some ways like they're more intelligent and they develop faster, but some ways they're much slower. So then, let's say they're already 12 and all the girls are starting to shape up and becoming more ladylike, but they're still acting like a kid. So those 12-year-old kids, right, who look at their peers with ASD and, oh gosh, this person, haha, it's so embarrassing. Why can't she grow up? So they project all their shame and then they'll bully the person who's a bit slower developmentally. So that is also overcompensation, alright? Okay, and that's exactly why people on the ASD spectrum tend to get bullied, because their developmental phase is slightly slower. The ASD's autism spectrum is a developmental condition after all. Makes sense? But some people, after they reach adulthood, they still feel somehow defective. Maybe they are poorer than others, or like all the reasons I mentioned, they still feel intrinsically broken or defective inside, and they continue to overcompensate, so they can be hypercritical towards others, right? So yes, narcissists tend to do that also. They criticize others in order to get a different kind of supply, like, look how great I am compared to that person. Okay, so they can get a supply from doing good things and being praised. That's one way to get direct supply. But criticizing others while seeming perfect is another way to get supply, a more roundabout way, not so direct, but it's also a way to get supply, and it comes from defectiveness and shame. Okay, so let's talk about some remedies for defectiveness and shame. I think while I believe in behavior therapy, which is like, let's say if the person always selects friends who put her down, then I target that behavior, so that no, next time your friends talk to you this way, you be firm. So then we do a lot of role play. Like I criticize them, then now we practice role play, we script it out and then we practice it. So that is targeting the behavior directly. That's not bad, that's one approach, but I feel that it may lack power, because it just becomes a muscle memory kind of thing. Like now you can just come up because you practice 10 times, right? But you must think about the battery source, the power generator inside, right? The voice inside, right? That part of them has to be loud enough to tell them, I'm good enough, I'm worthy to be protected, I got infinite immutable dignity, I'm a beloved child of God, don't talk to me like that. Not only are you hurting me, you're also hurting my creator when you treat me like that, so stop it. I have a responsibility to protect myself. If I can't protect myself, I can't protect anybody whom I love. So stop talking to me like that. So that internal power generator is not strong enough if I keep focusing on the top surface behavior therapy and role plays, right? So I rather go back inwards and target the core, the defectiveness. Maybe I can go back to the early memory. When was the first time that you start feeling broken or defective inside? Let your memory drift back as far as you can without censoring. When was that memory? Then I do the rescripting on that memory. Okay, depending on what condition they have, you can either do a memory imagery rescripting, or you can just talk it out and process all similar memories if possible around that category, because when one pop up, suddenly a lot of similar ones will pop up. You do that, and they say that therapy should refrain from affirming, but no, you can. You affirm them that that's not true. It's not true that you're defective. It's not your fault. You deserve to be respected. You deserve to be protected. So week after this kind of therapy, they'll start to feel more and more firm, such that when the opportunity comes and people start to bully them or to talk down to them, they will have, naturally from the generator, the voice will come out to say that stop it, don't do it. Okay, so I'm just going to tie it back to a bit of Christian spirituality, which is that every single person, whether you are neurodiverse or you're not, whether you are on the majority of the race or the minority race, whether you've been abused or not, every single one of us are constantly being created moment to moment by God. So if God doesn't love us, He won't be creating us, right? So even right now, like Denise, as I'm talking, I'm being created moment to moment, and I am just imbued with this precious dignity and integrity. I deserve to be alive. And there's something unique that I can offer this world that if I'm gone, I won't be able to offer it anymore. Hence, I deserve to be around, and I also have a responsibility to protect myself. Right? And even though I'm different, I'm not defective. I deserve to be around, and I deserve to have my basic needs met. I need to be safe. I need to be respected. So the same applies to you who's listening to me, and to all those people around who have been traumatized or feel that somewhat they're defective. That you need to reclaim your identity as a beloved child of God, and that will be the ultimate remedy for defectiveness and shame. Okay, so if you find yourself like doing any of this, like surrender, avoid, overcompensate, don't have to beat yourself up. A lot of us do it all the time. It is now that you're aware of it. Are you going to be able to stop it just like that? No. Usually you'll still be doing it. It's just that next time when you're doing it, you're going, oh, so now I'm overcompensating. So now I'm surrendering. You're doing it, but now you're already aware that you're doing it, that you're sinning. So after you're aware of it, slowly, and inside the generator starts to get convinced, right, that you actually have this inherent, very strong dignity, big dignity inside you. Slowly it will change. It's not going to change overnight. We baby step towards this newfound selfhood, okay? Okay, so that's all for today. I hope it's been helpful. If it has been helpful, kindly press like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless.